Who the hell is Gojo?
Okay, now that I got that out of my system. Shipping is an unavoidable part of any fandom, even if there doesn't appear to be any kind of romantic aspect to it. People are gonna find a way to ship something, someone, somehow. Trust that people will find a way to ship two characters, and God forbid you get in the way of that. Before we talk about all that stuff with that mess, hi, my name is Ezra Faye. I'm a professional makeup artist, a cosplayer, and I heard somewhere that the kids aren't using the word shipping anymore. They're saying something else. Apparently, I don't know. I don't give a f. I'm calling it shipping. Why must we stray from tradition? Get the skibbity toilet out of here. So what is shipping, just in case you didn't know? It's the basic idea of liking the romantic relationship or idea of between two characters. So it can just be when you really like two characters together and you're like, oh my god, I love their relationship. Shipping. Can be fictional. People ship real life people as well, which I think is creepy and weird, but let me not get ahead of myself. People will ship across two fandoms, like Cinderella and Sukuna. It's literally limitless. It can be whatever you want, and we also must remember self-ship. Real as fuck. In of itself, shipping is not bad. I feel like it's normal, especially when you're in a fandom. I can't speak for normal people. I used to be a hardcore shipper. Now I'm not, like, at all. I don't think I really have any hardcore ships. I mean, there's definitely like couples that I like together, but most of the time they're like canon couples that I'm like, oh yeah, I really like that. I self-ship the fuck out of myself and Itachi, though. Guys, the fanfic that will never see the light of day, it's all in a Google Doc. As tradition states, 344 pages of delusion. But my 344 page Google Doc does not even hold a candle to some of the stuff that people do for their ships. Let's talk about shipping as an adult. I feel like minors being obsessed with a ship is very much a canon event as a young nerd, but with adults it starts to get a little weird. So before y'all come at me with like your pitchforks and stuff, let's just talk about it. I love to say, as long as it's not illegal, you can do whatever you want, right? So if you're an adult and you want to make your whole life about a ship, I mean, like, technically, yeah, you can do that. It is just the strangest thing when your core personality trait is the concept of a relationship between two fictional characters. And then likewise, if your whole personality revolves around, I don't know, like, is Taylor Swift still with the football guy? I don't know. If your whole personality revolves around how much you love Taylor Swift and football guy, bro, what about you though? Like, what about your life? What about your relationships? You don't have to be in a romantic relationship to have a fulfilling life. Don't you want to like explore your options a little bit? Or don't you want to be obsessed with your life and what you've got going on? Escapism is a real thing, and I think escapism can be really great sometimes. It's great to have an escape. It's great to have that safe space, but there's a difference between having a safe space or something that brings you comfort and then like it just being your whole personality and only think you eat, sleep, and breathe. It's obsessive, and an obsession is rarely healthy. I'm not a psychologist, but that's just a little bit of food for thought, I guess. There's also the concept of adults being really into a certain ship and it being a ship involving two minors. I know when I'm talking about ships and shippers being weird and shippers being toxic, mentioning My Hero Academia is very low-hanging fruit, but I'm gonna pick that fruit anyways. Let's say that, I'm gonna make people mad just by using an example, but let's say like you are a grown adult and you are like obsessed with bakudeku. Yeah, like you can be an adult and like My Hero Academia and you can cosplay it and whatever the fuck. It's different between being like, oh, I really like the bakudeku dynamic. It's okay to be like, yeah, I like this ship, like I think they would be cute together type of thing. There's that, and then there's drawing explicit fan art or writing spicy fanfics or doing TikToks, and I don't even know if TikTok's still gonna be a thing by the time I post this, but like doing TikToks of them like making out. You're adults that's weird, or like debating with other adults about the sexual orientation of minors. Also already posted my video about minors, so if you haven't watched that one, I would go watch it because my points are going to be going hand in hand and I'm not going to like repeat myself a bunch. Even though they're fictional, it doesn't make it okay because it's the principle, it's about your motivation. You wouldn't think twice about doing it with two high school people that you know in real life. The whole thing of like, oh, they're fictional, it shouldn't matter. No, it should matter because thinking about things is the first step into falling into a rabbit hole. 1 second you could be like, I want these two minor fictional characters too, you know. The next minute you're thinking about it with two real life minors. I'm not saying that happens with everyone by any means. Being really obsessed about two teenagers being in love as an adult and even taking it as far to make it explicit, sexual, anything that's not appropriate for you as an adult to be obsessing over, it's weird, it's creepy. Let's not do that. I've also talked about this, but aging up is not an excuse. I don't care if that pisses you off. Aging up characters in order to make a relationship legal or to justify sexual content between two minor characters is not okay. It's not okay to age up a minor character to put them with an adult. I've said it once, I'll say it again. I think aging up characters in order to fit your narrative is concerning and a shit excuse that we as a community have let slide. If you want to write not so bad, why not just write about characters who are already adults to avoid any kind of controversy, to avoid stepping on any toes? Like, even if you really don't think it's that big of a deal, you know someone is gonna be like, what the fuck? So why don't you just not? There are some things that we should really just keep to ourselves. I can't control how you think, but I can very much advise you to keep that shit to yourself. With the concept of aging up, it's like you are going through all of these avenues just to be able to justify minors doing things that either minors shouldn't be doing or that you as an adult should not be wanting to see minors be doing. I don't know if that was grammatically correct, but you're holding on to a very thin rope there. Instead of aging up, you just find characters who are already of age. I mean, aren't there like plenty of like ship debates within like just My Hero itself with the like adult characters that you could? I would just be very careful with fanfic, fan art, TikToks, Reels, YouTube Shorts, whatever it is now. It's not January 19th when I'm recording this. I would just be careful because people are not going to agree on that. Whether you think aging up is okay or not, whether you think that you shipping minor characters is okay or not because they're fictional, that kind of stuff is very controversial. And that's not just for My Hero, that's for like any show that has like minors. We as adults should not be consuming content about minors being in sexual positions, point blank period. I know like a lot of media out there puts minors in these sexual positions and it's like almost unavoidable at this point. I think there's a difference between like watching a show and they're making like a fucking like panties joke. Like, you didn't go actively seeking that out, but when you're actively seeking it out, that's the problem. So that was just kind of like stuff about shipping that's weird or questionable, stuff that kind of makes you go, well. Let's talk about when it gets toxic, because it can get really toxic really fast, and I'm not just talking about with My Hero Academia. When you're in a fandom, you have to know that people are going to have different opinions than you, and that's fine, you know, like as long as it's not illegal or something that could get you canceled. Like, differing opinions are great. We love differing opinions. There's a lot of fandoms that are like really known for toxic shippers. I did an Instagram poll, and some of the fandoms that we're saying are notorious for toxic shippers, and this is not by any means a complete list. We've got JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, JJK, Genshin, Supernatural, Homestuck, Undertale, Sonic, Voltron. Voltron goes crazy, man. Those Clance shippers were something else. Supernatural, I believe it. Sonic, I don't know much about the Sonic franchise, which surprised some people for some reason. But aren't they like all kids as well? Riddle me that. And I think it says something about a fandom when it's like known for toxic shippers, because it's just like, that's the reputation y'all have built. Are y'all not like embarrassed by that? And there's this very toxic trope in fandoms where people don't want to accept like a canon ship. It has been confirmed in the text. It is there in stone, like these two characters are together, and some people don't like that. And you know, like, it's okay to not like a ship, like that's okay too. I know some canon ones that I could think of off the top of my head that are pretty controversial. Eren and Mikasa, Sakura and Sasuke. Isn't Deku and Ochako a thing like confirmed? I don't know, someone's gonna say it's not, but I'm pretty sure it is. That pisses some people off. Some people aren't happy about that, especially when there are like fanon ships that are so much more popular, or maybe they're not more popular, maybe just the people that ship them are louder, more intimidating. And then there's people that don't necessarily ship it, and they don't necessarily not ship it, they just don't care. Like, I know that happened for me with Naruto, with Attack on Titan, like the canon ships are there, and I'm just kind of like, okay, I don't hate it, I don't love it, I don't care either way, it's whatever to me. And the issue is when those who are against that ship being canon becoming toxic towards people who either really like it or don't care. They think that a character like Mikasa deserves better than someone like Eren, or that Sasuke hates Sakura throughout the entire series and doesn't really love her. It's like, yeah, you know what, maybe you're right, but maybe you're not right. And that's the thing, is like, it doesn't matter who's right because it's all fictional at the end of the day, so maybe chew on that. But because these people have certain feelings about certain pairings, they can mistreat people who don't share those sentiments or simply don't care enough to hold a debate about it. I've seen and experienced people stating that they wouldn't want to be my friend if I shipped a certain character with another character. I've seen and experienced people saying vile things to others over a ship when it really isn't that deep, especially as adults. As adults, why are we threatening friendships over ships? If I like the color red with the color blue, but you like the color red with the color yellow, are we really gonna stop being friends over that? Like, at that point, it's like, you know what, yeah, maybe I shouldn't be your friend if you're willing to like throw a relationship away over a ship. I was a hardcore shipper when I was in high school, and I was very passionate about some of my ships. I'm not going to tell you which ones they were. Those who know, and those who do not know will never know. That being said, I understand from the point of view of someone younger why you might cling to a ship so hard. There's a lot of different reasons, I get it, but I think when you're an adult and you're willing to throw away your friendships or throw away just having a real life outside of a ship, I think that's insane behavior. I think you need to chill out. It's cool if you want to really like a ship and that be a key part of your personality, do whatever, but like, bro, chill. I don't know what to say. Just chill. It's not that deep. And it's also kind of funny to me how denial some people are over a ship being canon. I'm trying to think of an example without pissing anyone off. So we're just going to use colors. People will say things like, oh, well, in the manga the color red and the color blue and that's together, but throughout the whole manga we see that the color red really loves the color yellow. They'll say things like, the authors were coerced by the editors, and the authors didn't really want to make the color red with the color blue, but they were scared of the backlash from the Republicans if they put yellow and red together. Or maybe they just wanted to put red and blue together. Maybe perhaps they also have free will. Like, I'm sure when you're a writer, there is some pressure from the publishing companies and stuff, but especially nowadays, I feel like a lot more can slide. Y'all are seeing the stuff that's coming out and you're telling me that they don't want red and yellow together? I don't buy it. Or they'll say things like, oh, well, in page 30, the color red makes eye contact with the color yellow for 5 seconds and only makes eye contact with the color blue for 2 seconds. Or something like that. Just something like really stupid. I'm telling you, they will read in between the lines and then some more just to justify their ship and build a very delicious nothing burger.
I hope you're hungry for nothing.
Maybe it's just not meant to be. That's why we have fanfic, so that you can go and you can write your own reality, you can read your own reality, whatever you want. But maybe red was meant to be with blue and you just don't like it and you're in denial. I think that's very real. I think people are very much in denial and they're spending so much time nitpicking, trying to find the teeniest, tiniest hint and reading into it so much and making it all about that ship when you look at it on a base level, it's really not. And I know authors leave Easter eggs and stuff in there or little hints for us, but I'm like, at that point, I think they would have just put red and yellow together or said something somewhere, but it's looking red and blue, just saying. So what is the bottom line in all of this? What is the point? What is the takeaway? And I don't really think there is a bottom line other than my classic verdict of, can we just be respectful to people? Can we just be respectful to each other? Can we have some respect for ourselves? That needs to be applied to everything. We have the usual takeaways of we shouldn't be doing things with minors that are questionable, illegal, and I do think that also applies to fictional minors and the way that we are about them, because when you start to be that way about a fictional character, it can blur with reality. Not saying that happens to everyone, but it can definitely happen. I am not wrong, because it's the same people that are carrying around their little Kana from Dragon Maid body pillow that are the ones that are being creepy towards real minors. I'm just saying there is a correlation, so be careful. Some things maybe just keep to yourself. Maybe you don't need to post that bakudeku making out fan art. Maybe that could just stay in the vault. It's okay to enjoy something, but you can't tell other people how to enjoy something. So if you ship red and yellow, you should not be threatening your friendships over the people that ship red and blue. Unless they're being disrespectful towards you, you should not be like, I'm not gonna be friends because you don't like red and yellow. Fuck you too. The fuck? As adults, you can ship whatever you want. It's okay, because that's the thing about fandoms, is everyone's gonna have different opinions, and that's great and that's fun and that's good. Don't do stupid shit. Don't post shit that you wouldn't want the wrong person to see. Don't say things that are going to hurt your friendships over a ship. At the end of the day, ships are supposed to be like a fun little side thing of a fandom, and we gotta stop letting them control us like that. It was never meant to be that serious, I fear. Let me know what you think though, for real. What do you think are some of the most toxic ships? What do you think are some of those fandoms that are really notorious for having crazy shippers? Have you ever had like a falling out with someone over a ship? Let me know all of your thoughts and opinions. Of course, at the end of the day, this is my opinion, other than the objective fact of be respectful and don't do illegal shit and don't be weird about minors. That's not an opinion, that's fact. But other than that, this really is just my opinion, so please don't take it too seriously. This is just how I feel, and if you disagree with me, that's okay. It's a big fandom out there. It is a big nerd world out there. Someone's bound to disagree with me, but you know what? I can live with that. But anyways, make sure that you like and subscribe so that you can become one of Ezra's faves, where I rant a bunch and I do cosplays and makeup and convention content and all sorts of fun stuff. And I'm gonna go and eat Captain Crunch out of a red Solo. Okay, bye!